Nice break from the scorching temperatures we experienced on the first 2 days of Blue Bombers training camp. Day 3 on Monday, much cooler, much breezier, and a little bit more like Manitoba summer. Continues to be lots of running and fitness conditioning for the 99 athletes on the field. It will be 4 full days of that, according to head coach Mike O'Shea, before Wednesday, and that's when the Blue Bombers will begin training camp kind of in earnest. A lot of concern coming out of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as we spoke of on yesterday's video, of those 4 athletes suffering Achilles tendon injuries in just a 10-minute span. So with such a long layoff with the missed 2020 season, they're starting 2021 on a cautious note. That said, the offense and defense are both beginning to ramp things up. Towards the end of practice, Buck Pierce on the radio headset, speaking to Zach Collaros in his helmet, calling plays, audibilizing at the line of scrimmage, and then the rain came. So we had scorching temperatures in the first couple days, now things cooling off, even getting a sprinkle of rain, something much needed here in the province. Everybody knows that right now, towards the end of practice today. Now, Andrew Harris suddenly vanished at practice, raised some eyebrows, a little bit of concern. But Mike O'Shea clarified Harris had an appointment he could not miss, so he left practice early in order to take care of that. Johnny Augustine, another Canadian running back, he's taking care of some sort of ailment. Day 3 still has not participated in on-field activities. So it was fellow Oak Park grad, in addition to Nick Dembski and, of course, Andrew Harris, Brady Oliveira, who was working with the first team offense, taking handoffs from Zach Collaros during that 12-man offensive drill session. It'll be interesting to see how things shake out. With Andrew Harris being 34 years of age, I really do anticipate it being more of a spread out workload. There's a lot of running backs in Blue Bombers camp. 4 Canadians, as we mentioned: Harris, Johnny Augustine, Brady Oliveira, and then Kyle Borsa, a 2021 draft pick out of the University of Regina. Now, starting center Michael Couture missed some time today. It was 2019 draft pick Asatui Eli, who took over at center. I've got him slated to be the front runner for that for that 6th man offensive line spot as the Blue Bombers roll out their 44-man roster for week 1. But it's the defense today that I really want to get into here on Bonfire Sports. And the Blue Bombers defense wasn't ranked particularly well in statistical categories in 2019, but boy did they come on in the postseason. 14, 13, and 12 points allowed in each of those 3 playoff games, all on the road, against Calgary, against Saskatchewan, and then against the number 1 ranked offense in the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Pretty impressive showing from Richie Hall's crew when there was some leakiness to that boat during the 2019 season. Now, while they did well in that playoff run, you have to wonder what 2021 is going to look like. You have a lot of players returning, but we look towards the defensive backfield where the most change will be. Nick Taylor, Mercy Maston, and especially Mike Jones all played really well at the end of the regular season and into the playoffs and emerged as top CFL covermen. Now, the Bombers and defensive coordinator Richie Hall, they really and truly only care about points scored against. And it's more of a macro look at assessing 2019 and the defense when it comes to their rankings. In the regular season, the rush defense ranked first. Half the league was 90 yards a game or more. The other half, 100 or 110 yards per game against on the ground in 2019. The Blue Bombers rush defense allowed 64.2 yards per game against opposing rushing attacks, to show you how much better they were than the rest of the Canadian Football League. But then you look at the pass defense, and it was much different. 6th in the CFL, and definitely in the back third of statistical categories. Over 300 yards allowed through the air per game. But it was the defensive front that was probably the strongest part of the Blue Bombers' pass defense. Willie Jefferson, Jackson Jeffcoat, big reason why the Blue Bombers are as good and stable as they are on that defensive front. And when it comes to the reigning most outstanding defensive player in the CFL, he ranks him and his bookend partner right where you'd expect. Where do you rate yourselves as a duo compared to the rest of the league?
top two, and we not number two. Yeah, that way. So coming off of 2019 and the film that we put out in the Grey Cup, I'm just having the offseason that we had working with our guy Tim Crowder in Texas. I don't know. I don't know if it's another defensive end tandem like me and Jackson that was working as hard as we did, even and working together. So, you know what I'm saying? We know what we're good at, and we know what we need to get better at. And that's the things that we worked on this offseason for the past two offseason. And, we ready to come out here and just work for camp and try to get better and see where our training has got us. And then when it comes to the season, just unleashing all this pent up emotion and anxiety and stuff like that, and just ready to play ball. You know what I'm saying? We gonna follow Coach Rich the way we did last year, and we gonna make plays.
The defensive front here in Winnipeg will continue to be a heavy rotation, led by the Jeffs, Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat. You've got linebackers Adam Bighill and Kyrie Wilson returning to stabilize things in the middle. But I look towards the starting 6 defensive backs in the Blue Bombers backfield, and some question marks begin to emerge. Who do you have returning? Nick Taylor and Mike Jones, who were great in the Grey Cup game, especially Mike Jones, flying all over the field, making plays everywhere. Then, of course, Mercy Maston at the dime back, or maybe you want to refer to it as the strong side linebacker spot. That's his spot to lose, no question about that. You have a veteran leader in Brandon Alexander at safety. But with those 2 spots vacated by Winston Rose, now with the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFL, and Marcus Sales, time with Minnesota Vikings, and since has signed a 3-year contract with Rick Campbell's BC Lions, it leaves a couple holes to fill. I look towards Josh Johnson, a 5-year CFL vet, to take one of those spots. Let's hear from Adam Bighill.
On defense, we really do feel like we're picking up where we left off, even though there's a couple new guys in the fold. I mean, we'll bring them up real quick. And to me, Josh Johnson is a guy that I would say was here last year, even though he wasn't. He's a true professional. I played with him before. He fits in. He understands the game really well. He's very versatile. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do for us. And obviously, he's a huge, huge part of our defense now, which was fantastic. So, for the most part, we feel like we're rolling on defense already.
Now, along with Adam Bighill, you have safety Brandon Alexander as some of those veterans that are really leaned on to provide tutelage and leadership to all of these young players in their first year in the CFL. And when it comes to Brandon Alexander, he's got 20 defensive backs who've never played in the CFL before. So what's his advice for these young guys?
I believe in just working hard. Like I'm a walk on, and so I take that in anything that I do. Whether that's going to be in sports or just real life. Working hard, I feel like it's going to get you where you want to go, especially if you're passionate and you're adamant about it. When doing all the small things correctly, and this is the reason why our defense is good, is because of the fact that we do all the little things very, very well. Picking up the balls, even if it's an incomplete pass or a fumble or anything like that, just doing all the small things, and they'll equal up to something big. So really, that's it. Just having a mentality of coming out and working hard, giving it the best that you got.
So that's a quick look at the defense. Be sure to join us back here on Bonfire Sports as training camp continues. We'll get a look at the offense as well. Now, the main goal of this training camp is an easy one for both veterans and rookies alike to be motivated for. And that's to be primed and ready for the 2021 CFL kickoff right here in Winnipeg in front of a home crowd in just over 3 weeks.
Rematch from the Grey Cup. Back in Winnipeg, first game of the season in Winnipeg. Loudest fans in the CFL. They've been waiting for a whole year and a half for us to be back, and for us to be back in the way that we are back, and to have the Ticats come in here and how dynamic their offense is and how stout their defense is. It's going to be a good game one for the CFL. It's going to be a good game one for, everybody just to tune back in and see some football. And, the number one defense going against the CFL rated number one offense, you can't ask for a better game one. You can't ask for a better game to come back to after sitting out a year and a half, So I can't wait. What's up, family? You know, man, it's too bright out here in Winnipeg. It's so much love in the atmosphere, man. So much love.